it's John McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And I do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours worth of effort, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. For most people who go to work each and every day, live the 9 to 5 or much longer hours, go to the store, the office, the warehouse, or wherever it is they work, they just live for the weekends, if they are actually fortunate enough to get the weekends off. Many go into work on Monday and they just can't wait till 5 p.m. on Friday so their weekend starts. My guest today was no different. Working long hours in corporate America for a Fortune 100 company, he spent 2 hours a day traveling to and from work, plus putting in 18 to 12-hour days. He was missing out on his daughters growing up. When his daughter Madeline would ask him, "Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday?" Knowing it was the day of the week that she would get to spend some time with him, it would break his heart. So he made a promise to his daughter that someday soon, every day would be a Saturday. And shortly thereafter, he made it a reality. Sam Crowley is the founder of EverydayIsSaturday.com. He's a speaker, author, trainer, podcast host, and serial entrepreneur. Sam's motivational podcast, Every Day is Saturday, is heard in over 100 countries and has millions of downloads since going live in 2006. The Every Day is Saturday podcast is the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes with over 200,000 monthly downloads. Sam left his Fortune 100 job many years ago because his daughter Madeline used to ask him, "Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday?" He made a promise to his daughter that someday soon, every day would be that Saturday. Now Sam lives his life unscripted and shares his findings with thousands through his daily motivational podcasts, and now trains eager thought leaders worldwide on how to create massive momentum, the majority of whom are going through massive transitions, looking to create momentum out of nothing and figure out how to monetize their intellectual property. Sam helps them by taking complicated topics such as speaking, selling, and online marketing and turning it into very simple concepts so anyone with a message can begin right now and monetize their passion. So be sure to stick around, because when I come back, we're going on the entrepreneur's journey with my guest today, Sam Crowley. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Today it's the entrepreneur's journey, where we hear from my guests about their journey into entrepreneurship. Sometimes the journeys are like roller coasters filled with ups and downs, twists and turns, and even sometimes they get derailed from time to time. Over time, it seems like there's a straight shot from rock bottom to success. Regardless of what the journey looks like on a graph, it's all about the challenges, the perseverance, the consistent persistent that makes entrepreneurs so successful. Now, for an entrepreneur, there are a few things worse than spending your working life stuck in a corner cubicle playing office politics. However, the guilt created by a child's innocent question asking if you'll have time to spend with them tomorrow is one of those things. No one understands this better than Sam Crowley, who created his wildly successful brand around the ability to make your own rules doing what you love. EverydayIsSaturday.com. After spending years as a Fortune 100 executive, Sam went on to a really flimsy limb and finally quit his corporate grind. Now, it was his first daughter who asked that question, making Sam realize that he was working far more than he was actually enjoying life. On that fateful Sunday, he vowed that every day would indeed be a Saturday. Not on a Sunday, but on that fateful day, he vowed that every day would be a Saturday, giving him time to focus on the real priorities in his life, spending more time with his family and doing what he really loves. Sure, the experience has its ups and downs, but that's what makes Sam such an engaging coach, fascinating speaker, and successful author. His podcast, often funny, sometimes poignant, always relevant, has had millions of downloads in over 100 countries worldwide since its launch. His audience at live and recorded events include C-level corporate executives and small business owners, entrepreneurs across the globe, and anyone who wants to learn how to harness their passion and turn it into a lucrative career. So please give it up with likes, love, shares, and a virtual flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for my guest today, Sam Crowley. How you doing, Sam?
Hey, John. Doing great. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today on the John A. McCabe Show.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
Yeah, it was our mutual friend, Alex, connected us early in the week, and I just want to thank you for taking such short. It was such short notice that you were able to actually make it on the show. So I really appreciate it. And we'll get into a little bit more about your journey a little bit later on in the show. But first thing, before we get too far, I don't know if you watched any of these episodes or not, but I like to do a speed round of questions just so that the audience gets to know a little bit more about you on a personal level as well as a professional level. Yeah, and don't worry, it's nothing that you actually have to study for. There's no test. You're not going to be quizzed on it or anything like that. So just say, what would normally just come to your mind. And as always, I encourage everyone at home to play along with us. Just type your answers in the comments section as I'm going through the questions, and we'll just take a look at them after we complete the 10 questions. So you all ready, Sam?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right. So name the book that impacted your life the most.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Great book. That's actually one of the top ones. The top 3 on this show, I'll just let everybody know, are the Bible, Napoleon Hill, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Those are the top 3
Sounds
books.
about right.
Yeah. So when you were a young boy, who was your celebrity crush?
Marsha Brady.
Marsha Brady. So what is a book, podcast, or show that you're into right now?
The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy. I'm reading that right now. Great book.
Yeah, Darren Hardy's a great guy. Do you currently work with any coaches? If so, who?
Yeah, well, actually, I work right now currently with a Christian mentor, spiritual mentor that I'm working with here locally. Yeah, it's been awesome. Every Tuesday we get together.
Excellent. And what's your favorite movie of all time?
Few Good Men, Tom Cruise.
And are you currently involved in any masterminds?
I'm involved in 2 separate masterminds, one targeted for social media building and the other one on funnel building. So, yeah.
Excellent. And name a person, either dead or alive, who you'd most like to meet and have dinner with.
Oh, my God. A person dead or alive I'd like to meet or have dinner with. I would say Ronald Reagan.
Okay. And what's your favorite type of vacation? Is it beach or adventure tour?
Beach.
And what's the best business advice you ever received?
Do it. Just go, regardless if you're going to fail or not. You got to get going. You don't got to get it right. You just got to get it going.
Just got to take some action. And the last question is a 2-parter. Now, it's not what you consume on a regular basis, but what is your favorite? So what's your favorite out of water, beer, or wine? And pizza, wings, or salad?
Oh, God, that's a no-brainer, John. I mean, that is the biggest no-brainer question ever asked in the history of the world. Pizza, wings, salad. Easy.
So pizza, wings, and salad? No, you have to pick one out of water, beer, or wine. And then pizza, wings, or salad. So
beer,
one out of each.
Wings.
Beer and wings?
Wings.
Beer and wing guy.
But
excellent.
I want pizza too, man.
Okay, well, on this show you can actually have it all. So I'm not going to discriminate. If you want water, beer, wine, pizza, wings, and salad, you just have it all. Just order everything on the menu.
Do it. See, that's exact perfect theme for our show.
Excellent. So everyone give Sam some love by hitting that like button, love button, and be sure to share this video on your Facebook feed. And if you leave any questions or comments, we'll get to them during the show. And if we can't get to them during the show, then just tag either Sam or myself in the comments section, and we'll get to them after the show has already been aired. And if you're watching this on the replay, tag one of us with a question, and we'll actually get back to you and answer the question. So if you're just joining me, I'm speaking with Sam Crowley. He's a founder of EverydayIsSaturday.com. He's a speaker, author, trainer, podcast host, and serial entrepreneur. Sam's motivational podcast, Every Day is Saturday, is heard in over 100 countries, has had millions of downloads since going live in 2006. The Every Day is Saturday podcast is the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes with over 200,000 monthly downloads. Sam lives his life unscripted and shares his findings with thousands through his daily motivational podcast, as well as training eager thought leaders worldwide on how to create massive momentum, the majority of whom are going through transition, looking to create momentum out of nothing and figure out how to monetize their intellectual property. Sam helps them by taking complicated topics such as speaking, selling, and online marketing and turning them into simple concepts so anyone with a message can begin right now and monetize their passion. So like I said, if you have any questions or comments, just type them in the chat and we'll get to them during the show. And as always, please like, love, share this video on your Facebook feed as well as any business pages, and type your name in the comment section just so we can give you a shout out. And I just want to say welcome to Vanessa Dawn and Brad Witherspoon for joining us today. And So Sam, give us a little bit of a background for those who don't actually know who you are. Heaven forbid if there's somebody on the show that doesn't know who you are. Give us a little bit about your background prior to becoming an entrepreneur. So where did you grow up, go to university? What did you do in corporate America?
Yeah. I'm from a small town, Bradford, Pennsylvania, population about 8,000 people, northwestern PA, the home of Zippo lighters. So
Nice.
you ever used a Zippo lighter? They were made in Bradford.
Yeah.
Great town, great people. My mom raised 8 of us by herself in that town, and real humble beginning, but pretty cool time though.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with any money to speak of, but great family, great friends. I miss that. Now that I look back at my kids, I got 4 girls, ages 15 to 2 right now, and you got smartphones and everybody's connected digitally.
Yeah.
And back when we were growing up, John, you grab the baseball bat, maybe hockey skates in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
You'd go knock on doors and go play,
Exactly. And you would leave in the morning, you would come back just before dark. Your parents, the community helped raise you because everybody knew who everybody was, and it's completely different time.
I miss it. And I don't know if I miss it because I'm an old fuddy-duddy, I'm 48, or I miss it because it's something that really is missed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I struggle with, I want my kids to grow up in this digital world because, look, our president-elect here in the U.S. is tweeting his news out now. He's not even going through the regular media channels. So there's news to be had in all different forms, shapes. What we're doing right now wasn't around a year ago.
Exactly.
Facebook Live. So it's like I want my kids to be engaged in that, but I don't want it to take over their life and them lose the ability to connect. Because I think what I do now, speaking on stages, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that, but what I do now is a direct byproduct of how I grew up, having to communicate with people, having to make friends. You don't just, kids are texting somebody right next to them,
I think communication nowadays is a lost art unless you're actually studying communication or learning how to be a speaker or something like that. It's all symbols and part words and it's a texting environment nowadays.
And I hate it. Like my wife and I are going on a date. We go on a date about once every 8 months. We got a sitter tonight, thank God. But we got a baby that was born at 1 pound 2 years ago. Our baby Susan. I wrote a book called One More Breath, and that was a couple of years ago when we were going through this journey. We had a baby that was born at 1 pound, given no chance to live, born at 24 weeks. And she spent 221 days inside a children's hospital. She came home and she breathes through a trach tube now. In a few years, John, she's going to be like every other kid out there playing soccer or whatever on the playground, but it just takes time. So I appreciate the ability to communicate with my wife, have a little bit of wine, go out to dinner. And I think when you don't have something, you appreciate it that much more. And not having that small town where I grew up, I appreciate small towns so much more now. And so from there, I went on to Penn State. I partied like a maniac, dropped out after 2 semesters, or 4 semesters rather. It was a 30-week party with a $6,000 cover charge. We like to call it at the time.
I had very similar experience.
Yeah, man, I loved it. It was I didn't understand the first night. I didn't have to call my mom and tell her what time I'd be home, and from there it was all over, man.
Yeah.
I need accountability at least at the age of 18 off on my own.
I think it's the trappings of small town boy goes into a bigger city.
I went nuts, man. I've never done hard drugs or anything like that, but the Stroh's 30-pack or the Milwaukee's Best was my best friend at the time. It was cheap, and you could get it quickly. And so anyway, I dropped out of Penn State, Barron campus in Erie, PA, and I went to Florida, spent some time there. And here's where I landed a job in the corporate world at the age of 22 in Buffalo, New York. Spent the next 15 years with that company, transferred to where I'm at in Cincinnati in 97. And it was pretty cool. I had 3 promotions in 4 years. I was running a $90 million organization. And we're talking about a guy that's got 20 college credits, most of which were gym and health class. So, to be running a division and making some good money in corporate stock options and stuff. But I hated who I had to become along the way. And I think people watching this can probably resonate that who you become along the way is everything about the journey. What you're doing right now, what you had to learn. I was watching you put together this production, and I'm like, I needed 2 Advil just to look at all the moving parts. But I bet when you look back 6 months from now, you're going to think, damn, I mean, that was a lot of work, but look what I had to learn and look who I had to become along the way, and look at all the connect. You and I would have never connected without this show today.
No, exactly. There's a lot of guests that I've had on the show that I've been able to connect with that I would have never connected with. I'm getting into people's feeds that who never knew me or heard of me or know anything about me. So that's the whole premise behind the show, is to bring engaging content to people who may be interested in it, or the guests that I have on the show.
Yeah, and I just think so. I quit my job, as you mentioned. My daughter asked if Daddy is tomorrow Saturday, because I told her someday every day would be Saturday. I didn't know it would be anything other than just the throwaway line at the time. But then I started thinking about it, and there came the brand, and fast forward 10 or 11 years later, here we are.
So walk us through your decision to leave corporate America and go it on your own. So did you have a plan? And then, how did your podcast come about? So take us through that transition.
I had zero plan, zero idea what I was going to do. I just ripped the Band-Aid off because I was so tired of being. I just quit Friday, May 6, 2005. I walked in, called my boss. My boss was giving me what's called the gift of feedback. You ever got that in corporate? And so he was telling me things we needed to do here and there. I said, I quit. And what do you mean you quit? I said, I quit. I'm done. And this whole every day is Saturday, Daddy is tomorrow Saturday was, racking around in my brain. I got to do. Because if you don't quit, I know this is kind of stupid, but if you don't quit, you're never going to, I guess is the point. And there's never going to be a good time. There just isn't. You can plan and plan and plan and plan. It's never a good, because you'll always come up with a reason why you should stay for the whatever it is. Health insurance.
It's always a safe fallback, right? So it's my plan didn't work out. I didn't succeed in my venture. So, but I've still got my job. I still have my income and my health care. So it's just it's a crutch.
And I see it today with coaching prospects that want to come in into my coaching program as well. And I know you see this as well, because if you're in this type of space, you see it all the time. People are like, I want to do it. I want to go for my dream. Okay, let's do it.
Not only in the business world, but I'm coming from the real estate investment world, and it is rampant there. People that want to be real estate investors and but just aren't willing to commit the time or the energy or actually do what's needed to do to be a full-time successful, make a considerable amount of money in that industry. They're just not willing to actually do it and leave their comfort lifestyle to make it happen.
Yeah, and I would ask people this question, because this is what the question ultimately got me. You asked what prompted it. I asked myself, is the pain of moving forward greater or less than the pain of going back?
Right.
And so for me, the pain of moving forward was less than the pain of staying where I was and just going back to my job. So I quit May 6, 2005, went bankrupt 3 months later, bought a Quiznos prior to quitting. I thought that would be my big plan, a sub shop. Comparable to Subway, it was the third fastest growing franchise that year.
Yeah.
And it went under faster than I could open the damn thing. And I lost 300. Lost 300 grand at a bankruptcy, ended up going back to my job, working at the same company for 39 grand a year. They put me back in the cubicle where I started 15 years before, not running the show. So I was working for everybody that used to work for me. And that's when I started my exit plan. And that's when I started podcasting, because I had to get a name out there, but I had no way to afford anything. And podcasting was so new in 2005. Nobody, there was a few people, early pioneers to it, but for the most part, it's all I knew to get I just found it somehow, some way online. And then I started launching it, and wow, it got downloads. I was like, well, this is pretty cool. And then I started getting speaking gigs, getting keynotes from people that found me, speaking in Hawaii and all these places, from people that found it on iTunes, that were savvy enough to find podcasts at that time on iTunes. And so it's like anything. When you strike gold, you stay there. It's like,
and that's very familiar story to what I'm actually going through right now, transitioning from the being somebody that's very well known in the real estate investment space in Canada, transitioning and getting back, because prior to that as a business consultant helping businesses grow, getting back into that business world, but instead of doing production and processes and project management and that sort of strategy, doing more the marketing, structuring and that. So I needed to pick something that I can build my brand, build my name, get my name out there. And this is, the podcasting of 2005, 2006. Facebook Live is the medium that's going to enable me to shortcut that process to get seen, recognized, heard on not only this, but a variety of different mediums using different strategies. So I can resonate exactly with what you went through back then, because I'm doing the exact same thing today.
Yeah, beautiful. You're right. It's now, this is the podcasting of 2016,
Exactly.
2005. And that was it. That's what got me launched. And so that's kind of the springboard that got me into this whole thought leader speaker arena.
Very nice. If you guys are just joining us, I'm speaking with Sam Crowley. Sam's the founder of EverydayIsSaturday.com. He's a speaker, author, trainer, podcast host, and serial entrepreneur. Sam's motivational podcast, Every Day is Saturday, is heard in over 100 countries and has millions of downloads since going live in 2006. The Every Day is Saturday podcast is the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes with over 200,000 monthly downloads. Sam lives his life unscripted and shares his findings with thousands through his daily motivational podcast, as well as training eager thought leaders worldwide on how to create massive momentum, the majority of whom are going through transition, looking to create momentum out of nothing and figure out how to monetize their intellectual property. Sam helps them by taking complicated topics such as speaking, selling online, marketing, and turning them into very simple concepts so anyone with a message can begin right now and monetize their passion. So please, if you have any questions for us, just type them in the comments section and we'll get to them during the show. And if not, we'll get to them after the show. And as always, please like, love, share this video on your Facebook feed and any business pages that you belong to as well. Type in the comments section your name just so I can give you a shout out. And I just want to thank Heather Morrow for joining us as well and joining the show. And so, Sam, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you first went out on your own, you first got started, and then how did you overcome those challenges?
Well, being judged was tough. I had a big old slice of humble pie. Yeah. So it was tough to have individuals mock you, ridicule you, make fun of you because you just decided to go for your dream and you didn't make it. So dealing with a lot of those self-doubt, personal, development type issues. I had to go to work on myself, John, because I hadn't really done that in a while. Because to get promoted in the corporate world, you just got to kiss the backside of the person that can promote you, look like you're working, and you'll get promoted. It's not that difficult. People make it really complicated. It's very simple. But if you want to be a really good entrepreneur, or you want to be a value, somebody that adds a lot of value in the world that you got to create, you got to go to work on yourself. Because at the first of every month, you got to sell to eat. I mean, there's nobody giving you a paycheck. No. And you have to keep yourself mentally fit. You got to read, you got to listen, you got to connect with thought leaders that have been where you want to go. You got to be humble enough to take advice, bold enough to step out there in faith, understanding that, if you continue to move forward, you're going to be okay. But those are okay words to say, but it's very difficult to do. And a lot of the adversity I had was right here, 6 inches between my head. I was physically fit. My kids were healthy. I was starting to make some money again in the job because I went back to make some money to kind of buffer myself before I quit again in 2007. And I blew the damn bridge up. I mean, it wasn't like, you talk about burning a bridge. It was definitely. This
time there was no going back. That you're burning that boat, you're stuck on that island, and you're making it happen.
Dude, it was like bombs went off on that bridge. So there was no going back. And that's the way I wanted it, because I knew if there was any chance of falling again into that safety net, that I wouldn't really be bold enough to go for what it is I wanted to do. So the adversity for me was all mental. It was every day. See, the beauty of what you and I do and other people that work from home or entrepreneurs, we're free. But the bad news is we're free. You're 10 steps to the refrigerator. The remote control of the TV's over there. You got gadgets upon gadgets. You got 70,000 emails you can go through. Yep. There's a lot of distraction. And that's the bad thing about being an entrepreneur, is that if you're not good at guarding your time and guarding your mind, you're going to go right down faster than you started.
Yeah, there's a lot of busy work that can take place.
Yeah, and I know a lot of busy, broke people. And I'm sure you do too. Yeah. Like, they're busy all day long and they make no money.
Exactly. So you had so were there any other challenges other than just the mindset?
Well, of course, filing bankruptcy in 2005 at Chapter 13, that was very difficult, very humiliating. Once again, it was it was humble, it was all that stuff, and it can really defeat you. I mean, you can't get credit, you can't get credit cards, your credit's shot here in the U.S. for 7 years, and it was something where I was like, wow, man, this is like a bad country music song. This is like as bad as it gets, and I never thought I would be that guy. And so financially, I had enough to, pay my bills and health insurance, but I had nothing else. It's like I couldn't invest in anything. So that was really challenging, paying cash for everything and trying to bootstrap a business off of that.
Exactly. So how long was it before you started to really build some serious momentum?
2008. The prior to that, I quit my job in 2007. So I was building great momentum at the job, because it's funny when you go to work on this, and I was doing internet marketing. I'm sure you're familiar with like the Warrior Forum and all these different places.
Yeah.
I was in the Warrior Forum in 2004, 2005. I discovered it online, and I started learning SEO, SEM, internet marketing, stuff I don't even do now. I outsource it all because there's people smarter than me, thank God. But back then, it was all about trying to, again, bootstrap a blog and things like that to get noticed online, ranking for the keyword motivational speaker, Cincinnati motivational speaker, all of these different things.
It was so much easier back then.
It was.
I think when I built my real estate investment online presence in 2009, and it was so easy. Within a matter of days, I was, I dominated the first 2 pages of Google. I had more relevant content on the first 2 pages of Google than anything else. I think out of the 20 spots, I probably owned 15 of them.
I know. Isn't that something? Like how things change? I mean, so that's, in that day and age. So, and other people, if you're not aware, 10 years ago, it was the Wild West on the internet. I mean, you would write articles one time, submit them, blast them out to an article directory, spin them out, have 1,000 different articles off the same one you wrote at 9 in the morning. By 9 the next morning, there was 1,000 different ones indexed out there, all blasting back to a link keyword. I mean, it was crazy, Yeah,
and then Mike Koenigs came out with his traffic geyser system, and then being able to do a video and then send that one video out to multiple different websites, and then all of a sudden it was actually hours. Within hours, you could dominate an entire page on Google just from sending 1 or 2 videos out to these 10 or 12 different websites that Mike had a system for actually distributing, which is how another way that I ended up dominating Google for certain search terms.
Yeah, I think so. To answer your original question, when did I create momentum? 2008, I got my first big break speaking gig, $25,000 keynote. And then from there, I launched a coaching program, sold a couple $100,000 that summer, which was more money than I'd ever made in my life. And then the following year, I did my first internet marketing launch, 2009. I've invested. I bought Infusionsoft in January of 2009. I still use it 7 years later, almost 8 years, I guess, in January, 8 years later. And I had a product launch and did 100. It's crazy, man. I did a continuity program. These were in the days when you could give away CDs for free. Mm-hmm. And when they bought the CD, they got rolled into a $97 a month continuity program. So there was no real law back then, or like they do now, you got to go into a 10 or 14-day trial and things like that. And we weren't doing anything. We were just following the rules, Click the box. If you want the program, great. And it's also going to put you into the continuity program. So I sold 1,000 at $97 a month. So I immediately created a $97,000 a month business. And it was just off an idea. It was a product called 6 Days to Saturday. And it chronicled from the day I went bankrupt to that launch day. I chronicled that and help people go through that same experience and plow through adversity and get to their very own Saturday. So 2009 was my breakout year, online.
Excellent. If you guys are just joining us, I'm speaking with Sam Crowley. Sam's the founder of everydayissaturday.com. He's a speaker, author, trainer, podcast host, and serial entrepreneur. Sam's motivational podcast, Every Day is Saturday, is heard in over 100 countries and has millions of downloads since going live in 2006. The Every Day is Saturday podcast is the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes with over 200,000 monthly downloads. Sam lives his life unscripted and shares his findings with thousands through his daily motivational podcast, as well as training eager thought leaders worldwide on how to create massive momentum. The majority of whom are going through transition, looking to create momentum out of nothing and figure out how to monetize their intellectual property. Sam helps them by taking complicated topics such as speaking, selling, and online marketing and turning them into very simple concepts so anyone with a message can begin right now and monetize their passion. So if you have any questions, just type them in the comment section and we'll get to them during their show. And as always, please like, love, share this video on your Facebook feed, as well as any business pages or groups that you belong to. And just a shout out to my mother who joined us, my biggest fan. Thanks for joining me today, Mom. And so Sam, earlier you were talking about momentum a little bit earlier, and then doing some research. I found that you have 4 stages of momentum. So can you elaborate on a little bit more on these 4 different stages, and maybe using your podcast as an example of these 4 stages, or using an example, a real life example?
Yeah, it's called the momentum code, and what that really is, there's 4 real components, and that's really, if you knew, you, John, or somebody else knew that there, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it was done, that certain, that you would succeed at whatever it is that you wanted to do, that vision you have, what would you do? I mean, let me ask you a question. If I, John, this Facebook Live, you're going to be the #1 thought leader in this space in 6 months. If you just launch this program, what would you do?
I would do it.
You go crazy. Like you would move heaven and earth to put all your finances behind it, to put all your time behind it, which you may have already done.
I'm in the process of doing, yeah.
Yeah. And so you're the perfect case study for creating momentum. I mean, Facebook Live didn't even exist a year ago, as we talked about earlier. So if you can capture the vision of what you want to do, why don't most people take action? Because they're afraid. They're afraid of failing. I mean, it's just, that's what we do. Most people are afraid of failure.
Right.
But if you knew for certain that you were going to succeed, your action would be massive. It would be like, oh my God, I'm going for it. I'm going to do it. You want to go to the gym. We all know that if you eat less and exercise more, you're going to lose weight. But we don't create momentum. There's that hesitant, well, I'm going to go back. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. No, I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. You're going to feel good. You're going to be sexy again. Everything's going to be awesome. Just get to the gym. You're going to do it. And if you take massive action, there's no other result than massive results, than great results. If you take little action, then you're going to yield just little results. And going through this whole every day is Saturday process in the last 10 and 12 years, I can tell you, it works every time in both ways. If it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the last component, you got to capture the vision, you're going to take action, the results are going to be yielded as a result of your action, and then your belief. The last thing is you're going to now believe in this process. You're going to now believe, John, that you've got this Facebook Live thing dialed in. All the content's going to be repurposed. You can sell your intellectual property on how you do this. You can do this for other people. I mean, you've opened up and expanded now in 1,000 different ways you can monetize this. Right. But most people can't believe that because they can't even get the first step, and that's capturing the vision. Example, Roger Bannister, famous for running a 4-minute mile.
Yes. Nobody
prior to Roger Bannister ever ran a 4-minute mile, John. Nobody. So, and after he did it, 37 people did it in the next 2 years. That doesn't even make any sense.
Yep, because they all knew it was possible.
That's it. Exactly. So how it could have been, instead of Roger Bannister, it could have been Ron Smith from Topeka, Kansas. I mean, Roger Bannister captured the vision in his mind and said, I can run a 4-minute mile. I can see myself doing it. And if it's going to happen, I got to put massive action and just go like crazy towards that. But unfortunately, most people don't do that because they take a little action. Have you ever heard this, John? Yeah, man, I'll try it. And no problem. I'll give it a shot. I'll do that. What happens when you give it a shot? There's
no dedication there. It's just like, I'll just stick my foot in it for a little bit, see how warm it is, and see if I like it, and then.
And look, you might catch lightning in the bottle, but you might catch a little success, So what's that going to give you? It's going to give you a little result, and it's going to give you little belief, and then it stops. That's it. But boy, you put massive action behind that, and you get those results, which always happens when you take it. It may not be the results that you expected, which is a whole other story about expectations are ridiculous for people, I'm going to join a network marketing company. I should be making 10 grand a month. I'm going to launch a sales funnel. I saw Russell Brunson doing it. I got to be making 50 grand a month. I'm going to do ebooks, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. The expectations are so whack. They don't even have a clue. Look, how about this? How about you just take one step forward, create some momentum, and then you'll get results. It's just rinse and repeat. It's not that difficult, but man, it's a mental game. And I'm telling you this, I got both hands in the air, John, guilty as charged that I was the guy that was doing this all the time. I'll dip my toe in the water here. I'll dip my toe in the water there until I finally said to hell with it. I'm just going to put everything I got behind the next thing, weight loss, going to the gym, eating better, all that stuff.
So in your opinion, are you able to focus on more than one thing at a time, or it has to be all in on one thing? So just with reference to your weight loss or going to the gym, does that take over and become a priority in your life, and other things become secondary, third, fourth?
No, it becomes a priority, yes,
Okay.
but it doesn't take the place, because that's a great word you just used. Because if people were to say, for example, going to the gym, let's just stay on that, for example, I don't have time. You've heard that, right? I don't have time to get
Yeah,
to the
that's the
gym.
lamest excuse in the world.
Rather than say I don't have time, just say my health is not a priority to me.
Yeah.
Just say, because that's what you're really saying. And once you say it that way, then it's a pattern interrupt, and you're like, well, that's not true. Well, yes, it is. Well, you're right. I better get to the gym, because you can go 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon. The gym's open, but you just don't want to go. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can't say that.
Yeah, I've changed my terminology, and I no longer say I don't have time for anything. It's just I'm not making the time for it.
Yeah,
Because I have 24 hours in a day. If I sleep 8, well, I still have 16 hours a day, and there's a lot of downtime in that 16 hours. I'm just not making the time in the day to focus on that specific thing.
yep. You can start. You, me, anybody can start. I know, because I've done it, and I've seen people do it. I study people that create momentum. That's what I do.
Right.
When I'm not here talking to you, I'm studying people that have created momentum. I want to know how they did it. And it's all about taking some sort of action that is congruent with what they're doing. So can you do both? Of course, because when you're healthier, your output in other areas of your life, in your relationships and in your business, they always follow suit. Because it's all built from the same seed. I mean, it's the same concept. So yes, for example, real estate investing, I have 37 units, 11 properties. I invest in those. I don't spend time. I got a property manager in that, but I do manage that part of a business. I do speak. I'm traveling to Vegas tomorrow morning to speak. All of these different things, of course, I can do it, and be a father of 4, running a family of 6. Yes, it's possible, and it's just a matter of you being able to prioritize. And I am not like Johnny Awesome. I'm so far from that. I'm not. I don't want anybody to get the impression I'm here to tell you how great I am. I'm here to say, if I can do it, you can do it. Really, that's the whole point. I hope people are getting from that.
Yeah, and that's one of the philosophies, and actually, what I'll be speaking about next week in San Diego is I'm a very proud introvert. I'm an introvert by nature, and here I am on my 65th Facebook Live show.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
It really, that I don't let that limit me in what I can or cannot do. It's you can do whatever you want to do, whatever you put your mind to. So,
John, we're all going to be dead in about 30 years. Well, not all of us. You and me, maybe. I don't know how old you are. I'm 48. I think the life expectancy. Yeah, life expectancy for guys like us might be mid-70s, early 80s, and we're done. You're going to sit around saying you don't have time and this, that. Time is the only thing we should not be wasting, because you can't get any of that back. Well, go waste money, go waste bubble gum, go waste paper someplace, but don't waste time.
Exactly. If you guys are just joining us, I'm speaking with Sam Crowley. He's a founder of EverydayIsSaturday.com. He's a speaker, author, trainer, podcast host, and serial entrepreneur. Sam's motivational podcast, Every Day is Saturday, is heard in over 100 countries and has millions of downloads since going live in 2006. The Every Day is Saturday podcast is the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes with over 200,000 monthly downloads. Sam lives his life unscripted and shares his findings with thousands through his daily motivational podcast, as well as training eager thought leaders worldwide on how to create massive momentum. The majority of whom are going through transition, looking to create momentum out of nothing and figure out how to monetize their intellectual property. Sam helps them by taking complicated topics such as speaking, selling online, marketing, and turning them into very simple concepts so anyone with a message can begin right now to monetize their passion. So if you have any questions or comments, just type them in the comment section. And as always, please like, love, share this video on your Facebook feed, as well as any business pages or groups that you belong to. So Sam, who are the types of people that you are currently working with in your business, and what is it that they're really looking for when they come and spend time with you?
People who come to me are going through massive transition. They're either starting a speaking career, starting an authorship, online. They want to create a product. They've got a message or just an idea for a message. And when I work with people one-on-one, the one gift, and I might have been given 3 in my life, the one gift that I've been given that I know works well is I'm able to speak to people in an hour and start to develop a message like Every Day is Saturday. Okay, right. Something where it's a life experience that can turn into a movement. And then the next step, of course, is monetizing that movement. So people come to me who are in pain, and look, these could be 7-figure earners, but they lack significance. And success really without significance, John, that's failure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if the goal was just to make all the money in the world, then, we wouldn't have billionaires hanging themselves in a bathroom. Okay. Because money is not going to be what makes you ultimately happy. What's going to make you happy is having significance, that you've done something that's helping another person or a body of people. That even being a real estate investor, we've talked about it, you're providing a roof over somebody's head. That's a big deal. I know we get caught up in flips and fixes up and all this stuff, but hey man, if you can go buy a house or an apartment building, put a roof over somebody's head and give them one of the 3 necessities in life, food, clothing, shelter, one of them being shelter, you've done a good thing. And you're going to get rewarded if you buy more properties and you create more value for people. It's no different in the online space. It's no different when you speak. It's the same thing. So people that come to me, they're in pain. They've made money, or maybe they haven't made as much as they want to. They want to make more, but they want to have significance and they want to create momentum. And they want to get excited again about what it is that they're doing.
Okay. And so how is it that you help them? Do you have a program? Is it all one-on-one?
Yeah. Well, everybody, they start with this momentum code. All right. I share that with them via this, the online webinar. And then from there, they make a decision to come into our Everyday is Saturday community. And inside there is a 4-week structured video training that people can take part in. And then everybody also gets an opportunity to get on the phone with our top coach, happens to be a gentleman by the name of Adam, and just see if they're ready to go through that transition to now adding that much significance. Because they can start inside our Everyday Saturday community, and they can always take it higher and higher and higher and higher. And that involves speaker coaching, podcast coaching, and all of that. Excellent.
I got a couple questions here from in the audience. Vanessa Dawn asks, have you ever had a fear of success? And if so, how did you push back that fear?
Yeah, speaking. I'm an ex-stutterer. So I stuttered when I was a kid pretty badly up until my teenage years. And so when I got booked to speak on stage, the fear of success is, I think, more powerful than the fear of failure. And I'm going to tell you why. Because once you do it good, like you have a product marketing launch, for example, and people buy it and you do great. Well, what's the next thing? You got to have another one, because now you can't be the wallflower flying underneath the radar. The expectation level on you has just gone up. I've read a story about Bon Jovi one time. He came off the Slippery When Wet tour in 1986, the album you and I grew up with in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And a 240-day tour, they went promoting that album, promoting it, and he's like, man, I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. What do we got? He went right back into the studio the day after a 240-day tour ended, and they created New Jersey, which was the next album Bon Jovi came out with, which went 7 times platinum as well, because of that fear of success. And I'm telling you, that's a great question, because most people tie the fear of failure, John, as this paralyzing fear. It's the fear of success. And how I plowed through that was to find other people who had been successful and followed that with that second hit, that third hit, that fourth hit. How did they do it? What was the mindset? And I'm telling you, they all had some sort of formula to fall back on that they went to, some sort of blueprint, some sort of structure that helped them build the first one. Because here's the beauty. As much as success is paralyzing and can be fearful, the good news is that you've created a blueprint.
It's replicatable.
You can always, you talk about health, you can talk about real estate investing, you can talk about speaker, you can talk about creating a sales funnel, all of those things. There's a blueprint in every one of those. It starts with, being overweight, out of shape, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you're feeling better. It starts with having no product to creating a funnel. Just take a whiteboard and start putting together on there what it is that this blueprint that you've created from the first time. The fear of success will go away. And you know what makes that go away as well, John? Is testimonials. People that you've helped, they're like, man, I got to get more of that. I'm adding value. This is great.
Yeah, you want that. I'm not going to say that recognition, but you want that. I'll say I'm going to use recognition. You want that information from people to say that, yeah, you truly did help me. You added some value to my life. It's very important. Spending that time with you, that you were able to help me.
Yes. Testimonials is going to be the fuel that helps you plow through that fear of success.
So there's she has another question. What advertising avenues do you find work best to get the word out of your podcast or Facebook Live or online courses?
Okay, here's a really cool thing. Podcasting, I've never advertised my show one time. I don't advertise on other podcasts. I don't do interviews. I'm not interviewed on other people's shows. It's
well, thanks for being on my show.
Yeah, no, it's not like I'm some elitist. I think maybe I don't get asked. I actually get hit up a lot for people to come on my show.
Yeah.
But it's just grip it and rip it, man. I record a show every day, just about for 10 to 12 minutes a day. It's taken hold on iTunes. Here's something about iTunes is when you get a little bit of momentum, it's all about momentum. I mean, it's all about momentum, you know. They'll start moving you up and up and up and up and up into the top 50, 10, whatever in your niche. And by that, it's just all organic. So
yeah, from podcasts, it's really about understanding your core target market, pains, fears, frustrations, ambitions, and having an amazing podcast image and using the right verbiage in your title, your subtitle, that will attract the people looking on iTunes for what it is that you have to offer.
Yeah. So I send people from my podcast to that webinar, to the funnel we mentioned before. That's all my leads go from iTunes to there. Mm-hmm. Facebook, I spend a good chunk of change on Facebook ads. And that, again, goes to a lead funnel to capture to build my list there. So answer your question there. Podcasting and Facebook ads is where I spend a lot of my time.
Yeah, and you can do a lot of stuff on social, on a variety of different social platforms to drive people to your podcast channel, as well as during your podcast, you can be driving them to your sales funnel. So it's that cross-channel marketing you want to be continuously doing on a regular basis. Pick a few platforms, be driving people from one platform to another, to generate exposure for your podcast, or from your podcast to your sales funnel, to your Facebook page, whatever it is. Just continuously doing that and adding value without the expectation of getting anything in return, which is one of the key ingredients that when I started this show, it's all about adding value and not asking anybody for anything, not selling anything on the show, just trying to provide value and content that is relevant to the audience that I want to target.
Yeah, I think that's great. Don't expect anything. Again, we're back to expectations, you know? Expect nothing and come at it from a service perspective. You're going to get the leads, you're going to get the sales. But you mentioned something else, John. Having a targeted audience is key.
Yeah. If you don't understand who your core target market is, their pains, fears, frustrations, and ambitions, the language they use, their desired outcome, the benefits they want on their way to their desired outcome, you may as well not even start. Because until you are crystal clear on that language, that information, it's just like throwing mud on a wall. You just hope something sticks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like running east looking for a sunset. So
yeah. So if you guys are just joining, I'm speaking with Sam Crowley. He's the founder of EverydayIsSaturday.com. Sam is a speaker, author, trainer, podcast host, and serial entrepreneur. Sam's motivational podcast, Every Day is Saturday, is heard in over 100 countries and has millions of downloads since going live in 2006. The podcast is the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes with over 200,000 monthly downloads. Sam lives his life unscripted and shares his findings with thousands through his daily motivational podcast, as well as training eager thought leaders worldwide on how to create massive momentum, the majority of whom are going through transition, looking to create momentum out of nothing and figure out how to monetize their intellectual property. Sam helps them by taking complicated topics such as speaking, selling online, marketing, and turning them into very simple concepts so anyone with a message can begin right now and monetize their passion. So if you have any questions or comments, just keep them coming in and we'll definitely answer them during the show. And as always, please like, love, share this video on your Facebook feed as well as any business pages or groups that you belong to. Vanessa asked another question, or it's a comment. Yeah, you go through waves of it and then I push through. So I think she's talking about the success, but it comes back. So the fear of success comes back. So she pushes through, it comes back. She pushes through, it comes back. But she thanks you for the great advice, and she's thanking us for a great job, and want to welcome Amanda Lee to the show as well. So thanks for joining us. So Sam, how can someone speed up the transition from just getting started to becoming their version of successful? So we're talking about sort of the speed of that momentum. How can you speed that up, going from just getting started to being their version of successful?
Okay, so we already talked about you need to take some sort of action.
Right.
So if it were me, in my version, in the world I'm in, I'm a thought leader, a speaker, trainer, seminar leader, I'd create a Facebook group today. And I would invite everybody I know into that Facebook group, and I would start a discussion around topics like you mentioned, the pains, the fears, and all those things that you want to help people with. And then I would go to SurveyMonkey and set up a free account, and I would survey people inside that group. Because here's the thing, John. A lot of people create products. You ever seen somebody create a product and nobody buys it? Yeah. Why? Because
the people it wasn't what they wanted.
Yeah. It does. So doesn't it? It's kind of like everybody kind of does it backwards. Like, oh, this happened to me, so I know it happened to everybody. I know everybody wants to know about this.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I did it. That's why everything we've talked about today, we could do a 2-hour show on all the screw ups that I've done, all the money I've lost,
all the things that all the things that we've done that we knew we shouldn't have done. We did them anyway because we were told not to do them, but thinking we know better.
Yeah, and one of the things I did was create ebooks and videos about things that happened to me in my little silo that I was living in, and thought everybody wanted to know about it. When in fact, what I found out, nobody even cared. So I would survey, I would create, Facebook wasn't around. I feel like such an old man. When I was your age, but we were in forums back in the day, we were kicking around forums, putting a link at the bottom of our signature file, hoping people would click on it and things like that. Now you can target a demographic on social media. Look, whatever's your favorite, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever one, pick one. There's no wrong answers, just pick one. I happen to spend all my time on Twitter and Facebook. I'm a Twitteraholic, mainly for politics. I go nuts out there in politics and go fire it up, stir the pot, and then leave. But I send people from my podcast.
I do that with my nieces.
Yeah.
Fire them up and then leave.
Fire it up and leave, And so my advice, since you asked the question, would be I would create a Facebook group, okay, and a Facebook fan page. Those are a couple of things I would do. Get people talking. Find out what the pain is that you're going to help alleviate in the marketplace, and then give them an opportunity to sample your product. What's your product? Is it a written, an audio, a video? Is it your intellectual property? Don't get too caught up. Look, guys, all this stuff you can do for free. I mean, John can tell you this is better than I can probably. I mean, you can create a YouTube playlist, create 3 to 5 videos out there just on one topic. Everybody accesses it for free.
Yeah.
And just get people telling you what pain they're in. So the product you do create, your first one or the next one, is about what they want,
Exactly. And so how can someone master that art of speed?
Well, let me tell you. I'll tell you, wait, let me answer how not to do it. Keep on reading. Keep on asking questions.
Not taking action?
Not doing anything, man. Because if you're going to master the art of speed, success leaves clues. You would agree with that, yes. Right? So I would ask a guy like John or somebody else, John, how'd you get this Facebook Live up and running so quickly? I mean, it's only been around for 10 months.
Oh, just turn the mic, turn the video camera on and started.
It can't be that easy, John. It's not that easy.
It's that easy.
It's not that easy. See, you answered the question. I wanted you to answer because if I keep answering the same way, people are like, this guy's a broken record, But success leaves clues. And the reason success leaves clues and makes it a little bit easier for somebody who comes after is because they've tried everything.
Yeah.
They failed greatly at it. If you ask any entrepreneur, I don't care, male, female, from any part of the world, they're going to tell you they stepped out in faith, okay? They didn't have all the answers. You're never going to have all the answers. You don't know everything you're going to know a year from now about Facebook Live, no. John, and social media. You're just not.
There's a lot of things I don't know right now. I know what I know, and I know how to create this show.
Exactly. So if you're going to wait, I was on a phone call yesterday with an individual. They're, well, Sam, I want to wait. I said, it doesn't work that way. You could be hit by a bus tomorrow. What are you waiting for? So to master the speed principle, it's got to be a sense of urgency that comes from within you, from an experience that you've had where you procrastinated and missed an opportunity, to a success that left the clue in somebody else's life where they actually had success and they just stepped out in faith. You must step out in faith. That's why it's called faith. Okay, you have to enable that inside your body. There has to be a sense, the Roger Bannister story, there has to be a sense of certainty that you're going to succeed when, not if, when you take action. That's how you master the speed principle. Success leaves clues. procrastination kills dreams.
And what you need to do is take some action, any action, and then you adjust accordingly. So take some action. You may end up going in the wrong direction, but you adjust. That's what entrepreneurs do, is we take action. It's not working exactly how we want. We adjust it. We make alterations, head off into a different path. Okay, well, that's working great. Now, oh, there's a little speed bump there. Okay, I got to do a course correction. I got to move a little bit this way. And that's how entrepreneurs operate, because we have the ability to turn on a dime just at any single moment. We have to be ready for change, because the technology we use changes on a daily basis. What our consumers want changes on a daily basis. We have to be ready to make those changes, those shifts at any given time.
You know something, John? 90% of the things I try don't work.
Oh yeah,
they don't work. That's it. That's standard. That's normal. I don't even worry about it. The one that works, though, you scale up like crazy, and that's how you take off.
Yeah, and if you talk to angel investors, they're just looking for that one hit. They'll invest in 100 different businesses, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, but they're just looking for that one winner.
Yep,
that's exactly all they're looking for. So Sam, do you have any specific tips, strategies, or anything that may help the viewers that we haven't actually talked about on their entrepreneur journey?
I would, because I'm a podcaster, I would recommend you go to iTunes and you search for keywords in the search area that really speak to you, whether it's motivation, inspiration, real estate, health, fitness, holistic healing, whatever it is, the arts, and find some good audio podcasts that speak to you. And when you're on your next walk or run or at the gym or on your way to work in the car, plug into those messages. We all have a lot of windshield time, or I'll be on an airplane for 4 hours. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be listening to a lot of these individuals. Remember, success leaves clues, and all throughout iTunes, because I'm partial to podcasting, and it's free to download all of them. There's no charge. I mean, Tim Ferriss puts out one that's 4 hours long.
I know.
And you could just listen to that podcast, go back to the original. Tony Robbins has a podcast. Now everybody's got one, and just find somebody who speaks your language. Not everybody is perfect for everybody, okay? But just find a couple, bop around, and get plugged into inspiration. I promise you, John, that their winning is going to come from the inside. Life is an inside job.
Exactly. Well, Sam, I want to thank you very much for being on the show. Our time is up for today. Like I said, personally, thank you. If you have any links that you want to share with the people, just type them in the comments section, Sam, and allow people to check you out. Maybe go to your podcast channel, start downloading your podcast. But I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the show, and look forward to catching up with you soon, Sam. And for everybody else, just stick around for closing remarks. Well, thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, if you're someone who's looking to take your business to the next level and want to get some coaching advice, why not apply to be a guest on today's show? Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create a life of our own, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our own desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with others. Now, a great way to make that happen is to leverage other people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step one to reaching our freedom life is to realize that you can't do it alone. Working with a coach or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you shorten the time frame to get you from where you are to where you want to be, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move forward with their business. Now, the second step to creating the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. The activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that truly make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Now, working with a coach or consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help save you time, aggravation, and make you a lot more money. Now, for example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time, and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author. You have enough content that's going to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. You have a successful podcast. Now it's automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, and generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint coaching program or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through my show's Facebook page. Now again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show when I have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.